Every leader faces moments of uncertainty, especially when new technologies promise to reshape the way that we work. For many, the rise of AI in HR brings excitement, but also a sense of being lost in unfamiliar territory. When Trisha Farrow, our guest today, first heard about the potential of AI in HR, she was intrigued, but unsure where to start. Like many HR professionals, Trisha wondered, how can I turn the vast possibilities into meaningful impact for my people and organization? Trisha is the Global Vice President of People at cybersecurity firm Arctic Wolf. Her journey from feeling intimidated to leading an AI powered HR transformation speaks to the power of curiosity, resilience, and continuous learning. By pursuing SHRM's AI+HI specialty credential, Trisha not only found her footing, but was able to make a major impact at Arctic Wolf, which makes her story a great mini case study on our podcast. Trisha, welcome to the AI+HI project.
Thanks for having me, Nicole.
I'm so thrilled to have you because you're exactly a representative of the type of curiosity and learning that we're hoping and working to support our members with. And so with that, I'd like to start off with your origins around your AI curiosity. Can you share what first sparked your interest in AI and how that curiosity evolved into professional focus within HR at Arctic Wolf?
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me and asking me such a powerful question. I will just share that I think it's a healthy dose that started me of fear, courage, and curiosity. If I think back to the first introduction of AI, I'll be honest, probably like many of our audience members listening today, I was scared. Uh, I remember myself being on a Zoom meeting, and it was with a community partner that I was interested in partnering with for some of our PAC Unity efforts. And the individual joined the meeting, had a beautiful profile photo. I complimented them on it, and they shared with me, "Oh, thanks, it's AI generated." And I thought, "Oh my gosh, it's AI generated? Like, what's going to happen next?" I'm a person that is very human-centric, prides himself on authenticity, and I wondered, I know this person is so authentic. Oh, I can see the benefit. It's a beautiful photo, but what does this mean beyond just using AI for an innovation and creative sake? And so that fear quickly turned to curiosity. I asked them why were they using that, and then I just continued to be challenged within my company. About a month later, our CEO council in May of 24, so our C-suite challenged our back office functions. We had already had AI within our products as our mission is to end cyber risk and we deliver security outcomes for our customers. But the challenge was presented to us to think about AI integrated into our work. And with that, I'm a person that loves a good challenge. So I'm a little bit competitive in nature. And I found myself about a month later at the SHRM conference in Chicago. And Johnny C. Taylor took the stage. And I remember vividly standing there and listening to him. It was literally standing remotely. And he shared that a storm was coming. And I thought, wow, what? We've just weathered the pandemic, social injustice is continuing, election is coming up, a storm is coming. What does this all mean? And I remember the messaging from the stage hitting me because HR has changed so drastically over the 20 years that I've been in it. And yet it was going to continue to change. And that storm that he shared was the interjection of AI, workplace civility, and a skills gap that would present itself. And I thought to myself in that moment, okay, I have this challenge from the C-suite. I now have this challenge in front of me of the future of what this workforce is going to be. And I either have the choice of standing on the sidelines or jumping right in and not letting this storm swoop me up. And so that curiosity with a little bit of fear and that challenge presented by our C-suite really for me was the perfect recipe to continue on my journey of figuring out how might I be able to use AI within our HR team here at Arctic Wolf.
Absolutely. And that talk by Johnny when he gave the metaphor of the buffalo going into the storm. It really captured the moment. I also remember the first time that I was like, oh, this is going to be a thing. And part of it was I was starting to see in my network people talking about how they were using AI. And I was like, taking down all of the different prompts. And very early on, I'd been working with Midjourney and some other things. And I remember just feeling so like overwhelmed for a moment. And I was working with it every day at that point. So it's like if you're working with it every day and you feel overwhelmed, it's like, ooh, it's a big change. But to your point, like it's coming. It's like this is happening.
And I hadn't even touched it then.
Oh,
I was just, like, on the sidelines, knowing I needed to get in the game, so
that's even more impressive too. It's just like like your strong foresight of knowing what's coming on. So when the CEO gave you the challenge to how can AI be used internally? Were there some specific sub challenges or opportunities that they were thinking about where they said, "Oh, it's a compelling solution not only in our products but also inside our organization."
So our chief people officer is the one who actually challenged all of our leadership team within HR with the opportunity. Obviously, it came from our CEO, within CEO council meetings, and they didn't directionally share where those use cases were. I will just share that because we're a tech company, we're very futuristic, we were already using AI within our products. Uh, the challenge was there that we know it can create efficiencies, and so start to think about how might you use it. It was just really a blanket challenge out there that allowed for me to think about the work within my team where I could develop some use cases and a business case for how to use it.
Great. Well, I'd like to turn to overcoming obstacles and building expertise personally and within the organization. As you know, at SHRM, we do a significant amount of research and, surveying workers and understanding where people really are. And so we found with our research that 62% of workers feel like they lack clarity about how to integrate AI into their workflows. So, as you began exploring AI, what personal hesitations or organizational resistance did you encounter around integration into workflows, and how did you overcome them?
Really good question. And that percent does not surprise me at all. I think that's a very real thing that every organization who is on the journey of implementing AI is facing. We recently surveyed our employees to see how many individuals are using, a co-pilot within their day to day. And it was lower than what I had anticipated, to be honest with you. But on a personal standpoint of, the obstacles that I overcome versus professionally, personally, I need to kind of take that fear and reframe it into a challenge and opportunity and the potential for the people on my team and for the company, as well as for the employees in which the vision for AI would serve. And so I quickly moved from fear to obviously seeing the potential. In addition to that, I'll just share that we were one of the first G&A functions to receive approval to use AI within our team. As a security company, we have a lot of protocols and guardrails in place and process in place. That's very stringent in order for an AI tool to get adopted and accepted here at Arctic Wolf. And so it was really important for me to meet with those key stakeholders that were on the other side of approvals to be able to hear commonly what are those questions and what are those fears. What is AI going to do within HR, and to be able to make sure that I have the information I needed or the questions from those groups in order to build that along with the business case I'd be presenting later on. Um, Professionally, that percentage of 62%, lack clarity. I don't think we're any different here at Arctic Wolf. I think that's probably very, very common. We do have an acceptable use policy. We have training on AI. At our recent town hall, we did launch an AI council that I do sit on with our chief people officer, our VP of AI here at Arctic Wolf, and some other key leadership team members in order to find out from employees with a survey, where are they at? How are they using AI with the approved tools that we currently have? Where are the gaps in learning? And how do we help them become future ready so that they can quickly move from maybe fear to seeing that Arctic Wolf is a place where we want to make sure we're enabling the use of AI and helping upskill. And so that is currently in practice and in place. And with that, we will be having employee-led lunch and learns. We have a Slack channel for AI wins where individuals can share what they're learning on key prompts and how it's helped them within their workflows, and really just trying to create some momentum within the organization so that people who are fearful of using AI can come along and test it in a safe way and know that we're here to also help enable that within their day-to-day.
I want to double click on something. You mentioned that HR was one of the first functions that was given the approval to use AI. Um, why do you think it was HR? And I'll give you a little background. It's like, the what I see is that HR leaders are both, they're first responders, because they're responsible for fluency in the organization and multiple parts because they own the employee life cycle and the mechanism of the employee life cycle. They're first responders. Employees are asking them, "Can I use it? Are you using it to evaluate me? How are you using it?" So it's just, they're first responders, and also they're, since there are many tasks in HR that are a good use case for AI, there's also a lot of nervousness around it. But what I've seen in the successful cases is that HR is really front and center to the transformation. So I'd love to know, um, you know, why was HR? What was the logic in your organization around HR being one of the first?
Yeah, I think it's important to just clarify again, we have AI within our products that we provide.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we also had approved Copilot for our employees to use. But that percentage of 62% lack clarity, I think that is very valid. Is still with Copilot that we have approved. I think the reason why, to be honest with you, the reason why I think ours was approved was um, probably a really good recipe of like timing, opportunity. And I had spent a significant amount of time, not only within the course that SHRM provided, but when I left that SHRM conference, I dove in and I did my own, research and started to reach out to companies and do demos, how AI was being used within HR in an ethically and responsible manner. And I began to dream about the potential of what it could do for our workforce. And what I quickly came to mind was just to kind of level set, we are 3,500 employees in 23 different countries. Our products and our promise to our customers, we have a follow the sun model. So 24/7 operation. And I don't have a 24/7 operation in human resources. And we all know that when an employee has a question, depending on that question, it can sidetrack them from the work that they're doing. And so I thought, what if we could have a web chat or a chat bot, Slack bot, that could answer employee day-to-day questions in their time zone when they needed that answer, tier 1, tier 2 level support, where we're actually feeding that chat bot curated KBs or curated knowledge bases internally, that then employees could get the answers to their questions in a timely manner, and we could then become a follow the sun model with AI integrated into our team as an addition, in order to really harness the power of technology and AI to amplify our team in building a world-class people team. And I think it's both, right? And you need the power of human intelligence, and we have the opportunity to harness the power of AI. And so that was really the business case, and I was able to be cost neutral within my budget through doing some work with my finance partner. And here we are today, testing the web chat and chatbot. And I think it's going to be a huge benefit because what it does for my team is as a really fast-growing company all across HR, we all have questions that come in, you know, every single day at any given point in time, and everyone thinks that the question is the most important question right there, right? So it can deter you, because we're an employee first company, people first, right? We want to make sure people have the information they need to thrive and do well here at Arctic Wolf. And so by removing those administrative or lower level tier one, tier two questions, it then provides my team to be more proactive and strategic to focus on the projects that will continue to move the needle for the business, on some of the more, I'd say, talent management and enrollment things that we're doing.
And so you've talked a little bit about your journey of landing on the AI-powered, chatbot, HR chatbot because of the follow the sun, reality of your company. Does the chatbot launch? Is it live now?
It is not. We're in phase 2 of testing. Phase 1 was just a small group of HR professionals on my team. Phase 2, we've been really intentional about engaging leaders within the business that we believe can help champion this to kind of be that ripple effect. With any part of change, a tech transformation, I think, is just as much a human transformation, right? And we read about that constantly. And so we don't want to underestimate the power of human influencers and leaders. So phase 2 is taking some influential people and having them test the bot as well before we launch and deploy. And that date is to be in November.
And is that sounds like that's a part of your trust building process. Can you say a little bit more about the approaches that you're using to build trust and to secure buy-in from leadership, your HR team, and then also employees?
Yeah, I think that's such a good question, Nicole. No one wants any change to be felt like this is being done to us, right? So the approach is very much being done with. And we've been talking about introducing AI in HR since we had approval in May. So we said it's coming, and then in the last town hall, we shared a little bit more about where we'll be using it and how employees will be interacting with it as well. Within the HR team, I've been extremely transparent from day one in sharing, that laundry list of tasks that you all have been making lists over the years that you wish could go away or you wish could be automated. Some of that will come too with phase 2. We have dreams of building agentic HR workflows as well. And so saying, yes, we're going to start with this tier 1, tier 2 chatbot to answer inquiry questions. But then, depending on the person I'm speaking to, I'd say, imagine a day when, and I'd fill in the blank. Imagine a day when for a leader who's based in the United States but has an employee in Japan and wants to know when the next holiday is. Instead of contacting me or someone on my team because they can't remember where it is on Confluence, imagine a day when you can Slack this chatbot and ask them that question and you can get it in the time that you need it.
Okay, so when you were describing the buy-in process, one of the things that you spoke to is the questions that employees have. And I have a thesis that I think that responsible AI internally, so not in external products, but internally in organizations, is going to land in HR because of the relationship that HR has with all of the employees. So I'd love to hear how you think about ensuring that AI is used ethically and responsibly in HR, and how do you communicate that to employees?
Such a good question. I think that's at the tip of people's mind, right? When you think of AI, there's that fear that what is it going to do and how is it going to interact and what decisions is it going to make? And from the very forefront, transparency is key. So we've been very intentional to say, it doesn't make employment decisions. It's going to answer just these basic questions that you literally can find those answers to on our Confluence page, which basically is like a company intranet site. And if the chatbot or web chat can't answer questions, we've taught it an escalation process to be able to direct the chatbot or direct the employee to an HR business partner, as an example, and the HR business partner for their region and client group. So it was really important to us that we build in the transparency in what it will and what it will not do, and I think that that's really, really important. I think if we can't trust that HR is gonna do things ethically and responsibly, then I think we have an issue with our HR department, right? But I will say that, and that's not the case here, but I understand the questions that come up naturally, and those are all natural. I think a strong partnership with GRC, legal teams, security team. We have a robust process here in order to get an AI tool approved, and being able to hear what those concerns are from the variety of different teams, and then being able to explain why those concerns do not exist within the tool that we are implementing and how it will and will not work. And then naturally just taking those same questions and communicating those to the employees as soon as possible, so that that comfortability is. But again, it's a change curve. And I think we just can't underestimate the power of human centered leadership and humans in this whole change process, right? And so while so many companies are focused on what AI can do from a tech transformation standpoint, we too are focused on the human transformation standpoint, ensuring employees have the information that they need to feel comfortable using AI within their work streams and workflows, as well as engaging with our tool once we do launch it in November.
I love that. And one of the reasons why I love it is that, and once I say this, you'll think about it and it'll be so clear is that it's like when you read the headlines and when people are talking about AI, all of the ambitions on the technology, but there's not a lot of ambition on the people. And so, HR leaders are the ones who have the ambition for the people, like, oh, what can this do for our team so that they can really like fulfill what they came to this company to do. So I love it. Um, Many people struggle with trying to understand how they can measure ROI with this. And and so hearing from other organizations like how are you going to measure a ROI with the AI tools that at least with this first one that you're developing, how are you thinking about it that other people can learn from?
It's a really good question. I think a strong finance partner is the answer. Um, I would say a strong finance partner is key. I by no means am a finance expert. However, part of the process of me building the business case to have this implemented at Arctic Wolf was naturally an ROI. And what would that look like? And so, how we framed it so far was pre launch, right? How many queries are coming in to the team? How much time is it taking to resolve those queries of that lower level tier 1, tier 2 support? And then we'll measure that. We'll take the average cost of the HR professional that was answering those. So we'll look at hours as well as the cost per query before the bot was launched, as well as post the bot being launched. So my hypothesis is that more questions, more queries will be answered in quicker time. That then also we can project hours, productivity hours given back to the business, because if employees and leaders have the information that they need, then they can focus on the business outcomes that they're driving their teams to versus waiting for someone to log on in the United States to answer their question, which for some reason has maybe gotten them, sidetracked. Naturally, that happens from time to time. So that's how we're going to start measuring ROI. And we will have a monthly cadence of looking at the queries that are resolved, as well as the gaps that the bot is not able to answer, and have a team reviewing and analyzing, is this something we can teach? We can have a curated KB for the bot to crawl and answer, or does this really need a human intervention and an HR professional or leader to be able to answer? So that's the continuous improvement as well as the continuous measurement that we will be doing over time.
Got it. Great. So what would you say are the most important lessons that you've learned about leading an AI driven transformation?
I would say turn that fear into curiosity. Um, Remember human-centered leadership. I think it's really easy to get caught up in the power of technology, in the hype. I will say the AI industry, from my personal opinion, there's so much out there. It's easy to get overwhelmed. So to take a step back and to really think about where can you make an impact within your teams, and then being curious enough to go seek and do something about it. I think education and knowledge is power, and having an unwavering conviction in whatever step you're taking forward that It will happen, and the benefits that you hope to see will come to fruition regardless of the obstacles and blockers that come along the way. Because we all know in HR, with any tech implementation, there's puts and takes, there's ups and downs, there's naysayers, there's yaysayers. And I think that just comes with the journey. And just to stay extremely patient, meet people where they're at. Knowledge is power, patience, and perseverance.
And last question before we go into our rapid fire section. How did pursuing SHRM's AI/HI, especially Credential, help you with this and influence your understanding and also how that connected to your greatest lessons?
Yeah, Nicole, I wasn't even playing with AI before the course. So, um, I will say that upon returning from that conference, I had actually attended a booth which AI HI certification was being talked about at that SHRM conference in Chicago. And I returned back, and the first thing I said when I got back was to my boss, our chief people officer, "Will you sponsor me to take this course?" Well, I mean, wanna jump in, I wanna become educated, paired with the challenge that they presented to me, I need knowledge, and it was a no-brainer, the yes came, and what the course provided for me was a cohort of people to be on the journey with that were in similar positions as I, wanting to learn from individuals within the field who were trusted and respected to be able to learn about the ethics, the responsibility, the tools to start playing with the tools. And I think most importantly, it was the perfect timing for me because the capstone project was building a business case, was thinking of use cases within your HR teams. At that same time, I had a goal to put a business case in front of our CEO council for approval. So the worlds married together so well. And had I not been in that course, learning the foundational knowledge and being pushed kind of to swim and maybe tread water and learn and just go for it, uh, I wouldn't have been able to present such a solid business case because before that, I lacked even engaging with AI and even knowing I was on the sideline, scared, fearful, right? And so I would just say it kind of propelled me into the deeper waters to think about it differently and to get excited about it and then get my team excited about it too.
Oh, fantastic. And also the trainers and the teachers in that course are outstanding. They really have the ability to make it very simple and fun and engaging. Great, great, great. Okay, so before we finish up, we have a little fun section that we call our rapid fire roundup. And so what we do is I will ask you an AI/HI related question, and you just say the first thing that comes to your mind. Sort of like quick lightning round. Okay. What's one word that best describes your AI journey?
Roller coaster.
What's the biggest misconception about AI in HR?
It's going to take our jobs.
What's one skill every HR leader should develop so they're ready for the future?
I'd say double down on human centered leadership. AI cannot replace empathy, listening, compassion, courage. I would double down on human centered leadership.
I'm like, yes, I agree with you completely. Last one. What excites you the most about the future of AI in HR?
I'm so excited about the efficiencies, the administrative tasks that can be built into agentic HR workflows. When our web chat and our Slack chat bot is deployed, the tier one, tier two level questions that the chat bot can answer instead of our team in HR is going to free them up to upskill their talent and work on more strategic projects that are of excitement to them, that they're passionate about, and that light them up. And I can't wait to continue to develop the team.
When I give presentations on AI and in HR, and people ask me where they should start, I say, think about the think about the tasks that you have that make the light go out of your eyes. And I ask them for and so we'll go around and I'll say, like, what's the top soul sucking task that you have to do? And so they'll go around and be like, oh, oh, I have a soul sucker, like this one. And then it gets it to be a little bit fun, and then they really start to think and see, oh, there's these things that's like, that's not why I got into HR. I didn't get into taking care of people inside an organization that's working towards a goal in order to do this soul-sucking task right here. So
Right, and then being able to dream with them, just say, "Oh, you don't like that task? What if you could build something with AI to be able to do that for you or help you?" Like, harnessing the power of that to amplify, I think, the potential of people is what's so exciting.
yeah, absolutely. So great. That is it for this week's episode. A big thank you to Trisha for sharing your experiences and insights with us. Everyone, thanks for joining the conversation, and we will catch you next time.
Did you know our podcast is only one part of the AI+HI project? We also host an annual event featuring visionaries from the worlds of business, tech, and HR. Plus, we publish a weekly newsletter that includes topical articles and the latest research from SHRM, all to help you stay ahead of the trends. To sign up, just make your way to shrm.org/AIHI. And you can also follow SHRM on social media for even more clips and stories. Like, share, and tell us how you're innovating towards a brighter future.
SHRM.